Welcome back to Real Estate Mindset. Today's video is going to be absolutely bonkers. And now, the data is in, and according to Zillow, inventory right now, which is what we need, is absolutely skyrocketing. And here's the thing, you guys, we see headlines everywhere and hear everywhere how resilient the housing market is. But I'm here to tell you that actually the housing market isn't resilient at all. We see that in transaction data because what's going on, guys? The overwhelming unaffordability, both with payment and what I always like to talk about and want you guys to pay attention to, price. So there's a double whammy. And so I really want you guys to pay attention to this monthly report from Zillow. We're going to look at some really great leading indicators such as inventory, price cuts, and days on market, the three leading indicators to deflation. All right, deflation. And I want you guys to know some of the data that we're going to go over, really exciting, but some of the data is going to tell you guys, is going to show us that it takes on average 35% down, or rather $127,000 for the average person to purchase a house that's affordable. And so let me ask you guys right now, do you have $127,000? And if you do, which first of all, most people do not, but if you do you really want to spend $127,000 on buying an overvalued house? Think about it. Do you? I don't think so. I don't think most people really want to do that. Either way, you guys, I hope you enjoy. Y'all, I absolutely love the title of this month's report because remember, this is like peak home buying season. So we're about to read stats and data from peak home buying season. This is going to tell you guys, show us, there's data explaining the writing's on the wall, man. You buy a house right now, it's foolish. We have, if you're on the sideline, you're waiting. We have leading indicators, massive signs now. Again, the longer we wait, the better deal we will have. The more we prepare, the better deal we will get. Name of the article is Price Cuts Abound as Home Sellers See Inventory Piling Up. And again, this is Zillow's June 2024 housing market report. Absolutely fantastic stuff in here, starting with home listings are piling up as buyers step back from peak home shopping season faster than normal. Again, double whammy, price and payment. As competition cools, sellers are stepping up, leading indicator, price cuts to try to entice buyers struggling with affordability. Again, price and payment. A housing market that for years has been defined by fast sales and few options is starting to look a lot like it did, and I highlighted this, before the pandemic. Remember, income adjusted for inflation was actually higher right before the pandemic, which again, when all is said and done, is starting to look a lot like it did before the pandemic. That's absolutely fantastic news. Remember, guys, as well, before the pandemic, before the lockdowns, income was higher just for inflation. And inventory has been something we've been lacking for a long time. Inventory refill continues. The total number of homes on the market has risen throughout the year, ticking up 4% from May to June, so 4% month over month, to stand nearly 23% above last year's low level. So inventory, according to Zillow, is up year over year, 23%. While inventory levels are still about 33% below pre-pandemic averages. That's the lowest deficit. So that's not good, but listen, that's the lowest deficit, guys, since the fall of 2020. That is showing us how not resilient the housing market really is. Now, when the pool of available homes was quickly dropping due to record low interest rates, right? Quantitative easing as well, and the explosion of remote work during the first year of the pandemic. Now, remember this, the migration is incredibly powerful. So in order for some of these hot pre-pandemic metro areas to sustain price growth, that same or similar level of migration would have to continue. And we know remote work is not. And again, this really applies to places like Boise. So keep your eyes on Boise. Boise data is absolutely insane. Let's go on. Well-priced and marketed listings are still selling relatively quickly, according to Zillow. Again, it's market. It depends on the market. It depends at the price point. Lower price point, not as much growth. Higher price point, above $1 million, substantial growth there. Anyways, this goes on, but buyers are enjoying a few more days to weigh their choices than they had last summer. Homes sold in June were typically on the market for 15 days before the seller accepted an offer. That's 5 days shorter than pre-pandemic normals. That's the smallest difference since June of 2020, which means that's great. Now, the really interesting thing, guys, is if we go to Redfin right now, and I suggest you go to Redfin Data Center, they have days on market median being 32 days. So they're saying 32 days. Zillow's saying 15 days. That is a huge, huge difference. High costs weigh on buyers. Now, it's obvious to anyone that's been watching this channel for any period of time. And if you're new, please like the video. Don't forget, guys, subscribe, share the video, share the comments, give us your intel, build the community of real estate mindset where we can grow together. Even the trolls can grow together. Trolls is like the redheaded stepchild in the family. We may not like them, and that's no knock to the redheaded stepchild. Actually, I'm just going to move on. While mortgage rates have eased from May peaks, buyers are still contending with costs that have risen far faster than wages. Wages are huge, you guys. I'm not even going to talk about wages much, but wages are huge factors in sustaining value. And the fact that that is not there is, again, more pressure on prices going down and historical precedent for deflation, or call it crash, correction, balance, something that's needed for America. A median income household can afford mortgage payments when buying a typical home in just 9 of 50 major markets, even with putting 20% down. Now, they put this a different way. The U.S. median income household would need to put 35% or $127,000 down to bring the monthly price to an affordable level, where less than 30% of their income goes towards monthly mortgage payments. And odds are they're not calculating taxes and insurance, which are absolutely wrecking people right now. So the fact that they don't have that adjustable expense in these numbers means they're missing a large piece of the pie when they're talking about an affordability. Even though they're saying all of these bad things, they're still missing a large piece of the pie if they're not calculating taxes and insurance. Slowing appreciation could give buyers a break. Great news, guys. Absolutely fantastic. With the rise in inventory, home value growth has pulled back. Not enough yet. I'm not saying go buy a house. I didn't say that. Don't put words in my mouth. Just reading this word for word. Annual appreciation is 32% nationally. This is just, again, national average. Okay, when we look at San Antonio, Austin, all right? We got New Orleans, we got Birmingham, Jacksonville. We got multiple metros. But, word for word, down from a 2024 peak in March of 4.6%. Monthly growth has decelerated to 0.6%, the slowest June appreciation, because again, this is the slowest June appreciation since 2011. That's saying something right there, y'all. That's saying something big. And that's kind of like music to our ears. Now, cooling competition brings on price cuts. Again, leading indicator. While sellers still have a slight edge nationally, Zillow's Market Heat Index shows a balanced market maybe just over the horizon. It's actually here in some metros already, although prices are still high, still crazy high compared to income, compared to affordability. Now, competition is easing fastest where I live in the South. All major southern markets are either neutral or buyer-friendly, with the exception of Dallas. I don't agree with that. And Raleigh, I also don't agree with that. And the reason is new construction. They're talking about existing homes. When we look at new construction, which is large parts of those Metro's inventory, a bigger picture is there. The price cuts, the depreciation is easier to see. The homes sitting on the market longer, vacancy, foreclosures even when we toured these areas is present. I've been to both Dallas and Raleigh and done boots on the ground, eyes from the sky report videos. You guys saw those. And if you want to know where those are at, go to my homepage, go to the Metro Report list. Price cuts to entice buyers are common. Nearly 1/4 of listings, 24.5%, received a price cut in June. Again, price cuts, leading indicator. The highest rate for this time of year in Zillow's records dating back to 2018. These are the leading indicators that I've been waiting to talk about since after the housing market rebounded around March of 2023. I'm not going to say since the beginning because we had deflation. We had deflation in the second half of 2022. The problem is in 2023, that bubble got blown up again, but not in all metro areas like Austin. Austin has just been, and San Antonio. I'll show you that when we get here in a minute. Now, this is very interesting. This is on home values. The typical home value in the US in June was $362,482. That's up, again, peak home buying season, 0.6% from last month and 3.2% higher than last year. That monthly growth is the lowest since any June since 2011. Again, you guys, that's what I'm saying. The writing on the wall, the leading indicators, right? We see what's going on, right? We see the cracks in the housing market. It's starting to become aware, I think, at least for the viewers of my channel, at least for our community. And again, we understand it's not in every metro area, but this is a sign of things to come because why? The income growth isn't there. There's no way to fundamentally sustain this. That's the point I'm trying to make here. That's the concept I'm trying to get you guys to understand. And if you still buy, if you're going to buy, at least don't do it. Just don't do it. But if you are, with the least amount of risk as possible. And how do you do that? Wedge, cash flow, proper expectations. You already know how to buy, okay? Because I have a free home buying course and we have a community. My thing is how do you not buy? That's what we really need to understand is how do we not buy? Well, first thing is like, calm down. I think so. But this is really cool. You guys are going to like this. Since 2011, this is great. The typical monthly mortgage payment, assuming a down payment of 20%, is $1,918. Now listen to some of this metro areas. Again, this is very interesting. Now home values climbed month over month in 45 of the 50 largest metro areas. Again, they're not tracking every metro here, just 50. There's a lot more than 50, guys. But look at the leading metros. This is month over month. Buffalo, 1.6. Cleveland. I'm watching Cleveland. Okay, you can't see it now in Cleveland because it's on some leading lists here. I think the speculation in Cleveland is overwhelming. I think a lot of it's an investor-owned stuff going on in Cleveland. My eyes are on it, but regardless, Cleveland's 1.6 up month over month. Pittsburgh, 1.4. Providence, 1.3. And Hartford at 1.3 as well. Those are the leading metros month over month. Now, month over month loss, very interesting. Austin, again, this is peak home buying season. You shouldn't have any decline here. Okay, that's telling. But Austin number 1 at 0.1. But look at Phoenix on the list, 0.1. Welcome to the list, Phoenix. Tampa on the list, 0.1. Welcome. Homes are steady in New Orleans. New Orleans is on the list, guys. And Denver. Now, I've been to Denver. You guys know that. I've also been to Phoenix and Austin. Now, take a look at this as year-over-year data. Home values are up in 46 of the 50 largest metros year-over-year. Highest in San Jose at an increase of 12%. Funny how that's not on the month-over-month list. Hartford at 10.5 again. Now, that one is on the list. San Diego's number 3 at 9.4. Providence, 7.7. And Los Angeles, 7.6. All right, now listen to this, guys. Year over year, Zillow's list is different than Redfin. Year over year, 4 major metros with home value decline. Leading, New Orleans, 6% down year over year. Austin, 4.6% year over year, but Austin's worse than New Orleans when we look at peak. San Antonio, 2.7. I highlighted Birmingham because I've been warning you about Birmingham. Melody and I, we went to Birmingham. I showed you Birmingham made me sick. Why is Birmingham on that list? Because the overwhelming amount of crappy, unaffordable new construction everywhere. Birmingham also on the list, 0.6%. Now, the typical mortgage payment is up 6% year over year and has increased, think about this, 112% since pre-pandemic. 112%. And real incomes have gone down. At the same time, 112%. And that's not even counting property taxes. That's not even counting insurance. We're in states like Texas and Florida. We're getting ransacked with homeowners insurance skyrocketing and taxes skyrocketing. Comment below if you're in Florida, if you're in Texas, if you felt those increases in property tax, homeowners insurance, comment below. Comment below for the entire community. Let them know the type of payment shock. Inventory and new listings. So new listings decreased by 9.2% month over month in June. That's concerning and not something we want to see. Now new listings decreased by 0.1% year over year. All right. Now new listings are 25.6% lower than pre-pandemic. So we're making progress. Some metros and entire states like Texas and Florida, Arizona have more inventory than pre-pandemic, which is really great news for us. Now there were 22.7% more listings active in June compared to last year on average. Inventory levels were 32.6% lower than pre-pandemic levels for the month. The smallest gap from pre-pandemic since November 2020. Inventory skyrocketing. That's great news, guys. This goes on. Price cuts, leading indicator, and share of sold above list price. Nearly 25% of listings in June had price cuts. That's up from 23.8% from the previous month. That's the largest share of any June in Zillow dating back again to 2018. 22.5% of listings had price cuts last June. 35.2% of homes sold above their list price in May. That is up 1.9% month over month. 40.5% of homes sold above their list price last May. So that's also going down. Thank goodness. Again, that's a sign of competition easing. Let's go down to this chart and let's go down to this graph now. And I'll only show you how this works. This is something that y'all can use to kind of hone in on some macro data in the metro area you're interested in purchasing in. Now I put San Antonio up here because look at San Antonio, we can clearly see it's never really rebounded. Okay. It's never got back to the peak back in 2022 of 307,000. It's now at 289. So again, you got to look at the big picture. That's what I'm trying to explain to people. Look at the big picture. So what you have here is a home value index. Again, you can drop down. I'm right next to Austin. Austin, I mean, you can definitely see how Austin has never gone back up. Austin is in, you guys, Austin's down 6 figures. So, I mean, anytime someone says, yeah, the house market's great, no problems whatsoever. I mean, Austin. I mean, what about the people in Austin? Just forget about those people or what? I mean, but again, you can come here. There's a drop down, select a metro. You can see what's going on. Now, when we go here, this is the rent, okay? So rent has finally gone under. Now, here's rent, guys. Now, year over year growth has been negative. This has been great. It's still high. Rent's still high. I didn't say it's not. But you guys see how this is specific right here to Austin. So Austin's been hurting. But when we go to the United States and look at the big picture, unfortunately, rent is not down, okay? I see it in Houston as well. I hate it. The migration is a big factor, and the fact that people aren't buying is a factor. Regardless, it's saying United States average is $2,054, up 3.5% year over year. Now, when we go to days on market, take a look at this, okay? Here's some leading metros on DOM. Now, again, leading indicator, if you're near in these metros, this is great news, but the number one metro, leading indicator, DOM, Austin. 42 days, guys. That's crazy. Jacksonville, congratulations. 41 days. Miami, get ready, Miami. Get ready. 40 days, guys. San Antonio, 36. New Orleans, 36. Memphis, 29. Tampa, 28. There we got Phoenix, 25. Orlando, 25. Florida is all over this list. New York, 24. Virginia Beach, 22. There's Houston at 22 as well. So come back here. This is very, very interesting. Columbus, Ohio. Look at that. 4 days? Are you kidding me? Saying 4 days in Columbus, Ohio. That's insane. Also, we have inventory. So we are up 4-year high. It's saying 1.15. I believe that's also counting pending. Now, pre-pandemic, we need more. So here's where we're at in 2020. So not quite in 2020. The trajectory has been good. Again, another sign that demand cannot keep up with even the historically low inventory. Demand even can't keep up with that. It's historically low. And demand can't even keep up with that because, again, double whammy, price and payment, unaffordability, crippling. Okay, you guys can go to new listings as well. This is a good one. This is price cuts. I mean, look at Texas. Look at Florida. You have Nashville. I mean, Boise, Salt Lake City is leading. I mean, this is wild. Phoenix, Arizona, 33%. But at the East Coast, look at not so much East Coast, 14% Hartford. Also out in California, I mean, But some areas, Colorado Springs, 35% of share price cuts. You know, we got price cuts surging. So we got inventory exploding, we got price cuts exploding, we got DOM exploding, all the leading indicators we want to see. So again, you guys can go to days on market, you guys can go to price cuts, you guys can go to inventory, all leading indicators that you want to be watching to really find out how quickly are you going to have deflation and how quickly our price is going to go down in the area that you want to buy in. But don't forget this, you guys, it's all macro data I just showed you. You got to go hyper local. You got to go subdivision. I'm not saying it's time to buy. Okay, I didn't say that. What I'm saying is the data that I just showed you is somewhat useless. And it's definitely, in my opinion, it's a little bit biased, probably a lot financially. And we really can't lean on it. But everyone looks at Zillow. Okay, so now that you've looked at Zillow, look at subdivision review. How do you do a subdivision review? You can access actually Zillow. You go on Zillow and you can actually find comps as long as you are in a state that is a disclosure state. Texas is a non-disclosure state. But you guys got to look at comps. And let me show you how to do that real quick on Zillow. All right, so come back here to Zillow. I'm going to put a state that is a disclosure state. Let's just go Los Angeles, because I know California is. So here we go. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to filter this data. Okay, so I really got to zoom in to the neighborhood or subdivision I want to purchase in. So if I wanted to purchase, say, in Faircrest Heights, I would now go to this dropdown and I would put sold, because remember, a comp is a sold property. So you can apply sold properties and boom, look at all these comparable cells. Now I always want to go to more and I want to scroll down and I want to make sure that I have 36 months worth of inventory. Okay, so let me apply. And basically what I have here is I have, according to this, okay, listen, I'm in a non-disclosure state. If you're in a disclosure state, you can technically kind of do a market analysis without needing access to MLS. I have 1,400, right? According to this, let me just zoom in here. Or when I zoom in even more, 420 comps. That's crazy. Now, again, you guys, the way that I would categorize this is, again, I would sort it, but I would sort this by newest, okay, right here. And the reason I would do that is I would find the averages for each year. So I find the average for 2023 and 2022 by adding all of these together. Or again, whatever the subdivision is. So I just keep zooming in as much as I could to cover the areas. I mean, there's 120 comps. Or okay, so there's 53 comps in this little area. So you can use Zillow somewhat to figure out kind of that you're not going to get a good deal. So you can use this to find and learn you're not going to get a good deal. But that information could eventually be valuable to you. If the housing market was valuable, you needed access to comparable data, you wanted to know whether or not you have wedge cash flow, you could use that data. It could be valuable. Sadly, though, pretty much almost, not everyone, but almost every single house is overvalued. And so you could still find great deals. I'm in Houston. Well, let me take that back. Depending on your definition of a good deal, but you can still kind of find good deals doing analysis and having patience. I wouldn't hold my breath, but I would learn the difference between a good deal, a great deal, and a bad deal. And if you know the differences between those things, odds are you guys are going to find a great deal. And odds are your patience, your discipline, and the fact that you put goals together and went after them, like if it's being a homeowner, finding an affordable house, odds are you guys will win. Just like I've been planning to win myself. Now, obviously, I'm renting again I've extended my lease for another year. But you guys, you know I'm out there. I put in offers on houses. I will not settle. I will not settle on the largest financial transaction of my life. It's my family. I love the freedom of being able to rent. I don't like the fact I have limited tax deductions. I'm not a CPA. But it's not all bad. And it could be worse. If I owned right now, I would have no money to get through. I just got bit by a shark. Just had a medical procedure. My youngest daughter, we had to take her to the ER. We got a $3,500 ER bill. That was a surprise. We're getting hit. We had mold. We had to move. Moving expenses suck. I didn't drop $127,000 on a down payment. So I'm still okay. Do you guys see the point I'm trying to make? Anyways, guys, do me a favor. Comment below. I love you. Also, got through the hurricane. That's another thing. The hurricane. I've been out for like 6 days. 6 or 7 days? I mean, the hurricane Hurricane was brutal, guys. We lost power. lost the ability to make money. It's been a rough ride. But again, I didn't drop $127,000 on a down payment, and neither should you. But I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not. Figure that out for yourself. And other than that, guys, if you're out there investing in real estate, you guys already know, I wish you luck, and I hope you win.